Well, it's an overcast day here. Probably a little snow going to come. I have to go over to the meadows. I'm going to take some horses over to the meadows and bring back Looks Like Money, who's in to go in the open trot on Sunday. Just moving some horses around. We have some horses coming in. Uncle Danny is slated to come in, so is Supermind, a couple of others. We have some horses going to Ontario for Jason, our maroon trainer. And we have one new horse. One of our clients, Pierre, sent us HP Liz Shadow, and he looks like a very good horse on paper. He's in the open here on Sunday evening. So we have a lot going on over the next few days, just travel-wise. For today, I'm going to go to the barn, do some stuff at the barn, and then make sure the trailer's hooked up, make sure there's enough fuel in it, and load up some horses and go to the meadows. I have Raging Hanover in today as my only drive, which, you know, as a driver, you look at it and say, wow, that sucks. But not really. There's a lot going on today, and for me to roll in there, drive Raging Hanover, leave with... Shh, Addie Bear. Leave with Looks Like Money, then that's a win for me today. Now, speaking of wins, we didn't have one yesterday, but we had a very good day at the track in almost every aspect. I broke out those new Ray-Bans yesterday. Ava said her and Ollie even watched all of the little shorts I did.
We did.
I think they're pretty... It's a pretty handy thing to have, actually, is the...
I watched one.
Did you? It's a pretty handy little thing to have. Now, I don't know how long... Like, obviously, those are still sunglasses, so are they going to get... I don't know how durable they are. I don't know.
You said you should wear them during your races, and I told him you couldn't.
Yeah, I could. I've wore them in a race. I wore them in a race this summer, not mine, but Jenna asked me to wear her. Jenna Otten asked me to wear some this summer, so I've worn those glasses in a race before. Okay. And I can wear them in a race, but...
I assume they'd get broken, because there's like dust and
well, that's
rocks.
what's going to... I mean, when you look at them right now... Let's see how they look right now. I mean, I wipe them off, but I mean, that's just one day of wearing them. So, anyway, they're pretty cool devices. A little added entertainment for you out there. I mean, and as things like this get easier to do, again, it only makes my case for every trainer. Why wouldn't every trainer do stuff like this? So, I thought they were pretty handy. I went through them myself yesterday, and it was nice. It was nice to get a different view, maybe a view from what I'm looking at when I'm going with the horses. So it was nice to get that done. I will try and do that often for you if I can. It shouldn't be that hard to do. As far as a race goes, we'll see. There's a lot more. Let's say the training is PG and the racing is a little more R-rated. So we'll see about if we can do it for the racing, but... we'll see.
You should do those and give them to the people at PEA because they have simulations during Old Time Week.
Oh, yeah, that's cool, too. That's right. So we had 2 horses racing yesterday, but we had 5 qualifying, 1 schooling, a gazillion horses training. Well, kind of training. But what a pretty good day yesterday. I went through all the... I probably shouldn't do this, but I always like doing stuff like this. I want to see the horses that really just caught my eye yesterday. I thought Atomic Hanover looked sharp. Belladale was very, very good. This filly, you know, Belladale, you guys have to understand, up until about 4 days ago,
Eddie, you have to get ready to go.
Up until about 4 days ago, she was not pacing her best at a gear, making breaks, not really doing it right, and really just put it together. And that's how quickly it can happen. The horses just kind of snap in and take off, and then, you know, away you go. All right, Addie Bear, you ready to get out, honey?
Mm-hmm.
All righty. So you have a good day, all right? You have a good day. Did you get everything, honey? Addie, did you get everything? He's already here. He altar serving or something.
Perfect.
Hey, love you. Bye-bye. So Atomic Hanover caught my eye yesterday. I was happy with him, but as I said to Lauren, that's my boy. That's the guy that I liked from day one when we got him from the sale. He looks good on the track. Rooting his head. She goes, oh, he could use a head check. I said, just let him play. You know, there's a lot of reasons that the horses will root their head like that. The only reason I would rush to get a head check on them right now for a horse like him, and you may ask yourself, well, why wouldn't you have the head check on him to begin with? Well, he was throwing his head and being a little stubborn when we were trying to break him, and a lot of the times it is because of that head check, right? It's a little constrictive and some of the horses don't like it. Now, the only reason I would rush to put it back on him was more of a more to get him in line, but he's not doing anything wrong. Could be his teeth, it could just be that he's out there being a goof and having fun, neither of which would make me believe that we have to have a head check on him right away. I will get it on him and he will be fine, but there's all in good time. There's no rush to do something like that. So Atomics Hanover, I like what I saw yesterday from him. Belladale, I love her work ethic. I know that right splint is bothering her. And, somebody had said to me, well, why wouldn't you just knock over there yesterday and cryo that splint? There has to be adversity, right? In everybody, in every walk of life. Whether it be my wrist, that was bothering me over the last 2 weeks. If you can get it done, get it done. And that's the work ethic I want to instill into these horses also. So, no, I'm not going to rush it and get it done. We're painting it right now. When we get it cooled down a little bit, Dr. Latessa will come in and finish it off with the cryo gun. What I found was, if we just rush it and cryo it right now, a lot of times you got to re-cryo it in May or in June. Let's just let it settle down, paint it up real good, some ball solution and DMSO. After about 2 weeks, right, we get all the scurf and everything off it, then Dr. Latessa can come in and cryo it, and I think that'll be the best for Belladale. But I like what I saw from her yesterday. Deadline was good. Little lazy, if anything, for Amy. Now, he will be castrated at some point. He is a ridgeling. We have 3 ridgelings in the barn right now. Deadline will be castrated. So will the big gray fella, the big roan fella. We'll get him castrated also. I think there's one more. Oh, maybe it was Sunday Royale over in Ontario I was thinking of, and he already was castrated. So Deadline looked good. Somebody said Barcelona Mickey just looked dead. Well, he was castrated 3 days ago, so he was dead. He was kind of flat, a little lethargic. Give him a break. He almost didn't go yesterday, both of those horses. It was just a game time. Well, they can go, I guess. They'll be fine. Just go easy with them. And that's exactly what Joe did. Mordecai Hanover let her hobbles out a little bit. She's just got to learn to do her work. You could see, I looked over at her at one point with the glasses on, and I was talking to talking to Eric about it. He said, yeah, she's just a little lazy right now. He said, just got to learn how to do it. But that's the whole point. This was day one, virtually, yesterday for those horses. And then St. Sarah and Willie wide look fine. Willie's got an OCD and a hock and an ankle. We got to take that out. But he was fine doing his work yesterday. I was happy with most of the 2-year-olds yesterday, actually. The only horse I was a little miffed at was Chicago Hall making that break. And, Jason said after, I think he needs hobbles. Shouldn't need hobbles to go mile on 25, right? And that was the frustrating thing for me, is that Chicago towards the end of his 3-year-old year was dogging it a little bit. What he's going to find waiting for him here in Northfield for at least the near future is a lot of heavy lifting and work. So the making a break as a 3-year-old turning 4 for no particular reason training gets under my skin, but it has a lot less to do with mechanics and his gait and a lot more to do with his mental approach to his work. I'm going to help him out with that. He's got a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of work ahead of him with Chicago Hall. The fillies did great, though. I just can't beat Amy with that pretty eyes and lies. She beat me again yesterday. Handily. Just coasted right up alongside me and rubbed it in my face. What?
Power of friendship.
Yeah. She was very good, though. Pretty eyes and lies, and Bobby was good yesterday too, both in the video streaming that you saw and through the glasses. I thought Bobby did her work very, very well. She's getting stronger. She's getting smarter also, and I was really happy with her. Third set was a complete PG here. It was dog's breakfast, the entire set. The entire set of number 3, I looked over. Who did I have? Down by the Cowboy. He's a lazy bugger. He's got to get a left hind ankle OCD out, and then we'll turn him out for a month and bring him back in. I get angry even at this point when they're not doing it quite right, but I also have to remind myself that there's lots of them in the past that have not, that ended up being very, very nice horses for us. And as much as Down by the Cowboy is lazy, he pales in comparison to how lazy and rude I'm Fancy Like was, and she ended up being one of my favorites. So I'd caution you to do the same. Don't take too much. Don't draw too much from yesterday. It was really just a first tryout type thing, and we have a lot of tryouts between now and next July. Rogue Titan was the only one that bothered me a bit, because as I looked way back, I didn't watch the video yet to see if he had picked up on Rogue Titan, but he was pacing nicely at the end of it. Tyler just got way back with him, away from the pack, and there was nothing he could do. But he was pacing nice, so good. Cross-firing a little bit. She's got to get x-ray too. This is the type of horse where you might find a little OCD in an ankle or something. I'm not too worried about the cross-firing just yet. Usually when they stretch it, they get away from that. We'll just put a longer shoe on her behind, and that should help with the little bit of cross-firing she's been doing. Stay Charming looked good. Complete Unknown paced really nice. This and That also has to catch his gait. Pilot Caviar and Water Mystery also had their moments, but virtually every horse in that set did something wrong at some point, I believe. Of all the sets, that was the one that needed the most polish for sure. We have 4th set. History Hanover just looks great. The entire set in here, for the most part, looked good. Dublin's Ferrani and Sweet and Steady were back a little bit, but both trotting nicely. Juju Me was a little fractious, but again, when push came to shove, did her work well. Popular Expert, again, he's going to be one of those horses that really catch your eye. He was a kind of a throw-in, a horse that I really liked, but had to meet the right price point, and he came in well below that. So happy to have him on board. Also, Stuntman Joe liked a lot. PJ's loving looked great. Amy said she's just goofing off, and I said, well, she is a baby. You want to put an ear hood on her, go ahead. But she's just playing. Just let her play. It's all right. It's not a big deal. Eventually, what happens is, for most of the horses, they'll play, then they'll start to get competitive once they understand their work a little bit, and that's generally how the process works. Very rarely you see the horses do it perfectly and start to have that competitive edge. Right now, there were 3 or 4 or 5 yesterday that maybe fit into that group, but for the most part, just out there playing as they're supposed to. Neuromancer, we'll put the hobbles on him and tinker with him a little bit, but I'm not too worried about Neuromancer. The only thing, he reminds me a lot of his brother, right? First off. Secondly, those little breaks are just him anticipating interference and not wanting to push through. So again, looks to me like he needs a lot more work as we head into Christmas time. Just work, not anything specific or anything hard, just work. But everybody in set 4, again, did it right for the most part. PJ's loving. You can see just the raw talent of that filly. History Hanover was one of those perfect horses yesterday. Yep. Juju Me, rough around the edges, but lots to offer. And then, as I said, Neuromancer just needs more work. But again, didn't need decent mile yesterday. I think I went 12 or 13 with him. I just wanted to see how he was in the race bike. He wasn't hitting the bike. He was just interfering just a little bit. So we can help him out with that over the next few weeks. The 6th set, the one that caught my eye the most was the one that Lauren really liked, and that was Holding Pattern. Beautiful gait, great attitude. This is what I was hoping to see when I saw this filly too. She couldn't look any more opposite from her brother last year. She's got a big body and a big long gait. He had that little runt body and that rude gait, and he didn't stay with us long. But this filly, I believe, will be with us for a while. Everybody in here also had moments where they did their work really well. Dame Hanover. Now, I have to take it with a grain of salt because she was the first one bought. But man, oh man, can she rattle. She is a nice filly. I had said it to Jason yesterday in the video I was making. I don't know how good she is, but she's going to be a lot of fun to drive next year regardless. Cover My Short was great yesterday. I guess I should finish up with set 6. Incredible, good, a little fractious, obviously. Gypsy Boy was just castrated, looked fine. Cirrus looked very good also. Miss Lady May did her work. What a Houdini also looked good. I've been very happy with that set.
I tell that Ruby bit me at the bar.
Yeah, he'll bite you. You gotta watch him. Cover My Short, X-Ski, Lou Armstrong. This was maybe one of the most impressive sets right here. The last 2 were both very impressive. Chips Ahoy Hanover just needs a little weight. So I'll talk about him because he's the only one that did anything wrong, really. He made breaks. He just needs a little weight up front and trot boots behind, and he'll be fine. And then the last set, again, everybody looked great. Travel Blog. I hadn't gone with Travel Blog, so I didn't really know what to think, but Travel Blog looked amazing yesterday. Very strong colt. I actually called him a filly in the glasses video, but very strong colt. A couple of horses, just again, you could see the ones where they were acting up or they looked very unsure of themselves. Those were horses that had not got into sets, and I told all our riders, we have 44, 43 babies here. when you go out the door, do not go out alone, and do not just go out and jog the horses. Take advantage of what's available right here in the barn every day. Go in sets. And you can see the horses that maybe were acting up and didn't know what to do. It's because they didn't know what to do, right? But they will soon enough. Boitano looked good. Money's tied up, looked great, but that number had slid back. It was bothering her a little bit, but she's got some beautiful gait. Perfect instead, same thing. Made a couple of breaks yesterday, very uncharacteristic of her. She's been perfect since the day we broke her. Prada or Nada finished up. You guys saw, I don't know if I showed you the watch, but the last half I went. So one full half of going speed with Travel Blog was 125, which is well above average this time of year. And staying right with me on my bumper was Prada or Nada. She looked very good also. She's got class, just needs a little, same as Chips Ahoy, a little more weight up front, trotting boots behind, she'll be fine.
Is she a sister too?
Who?
Prada or Nada?
She isn't. She's out of, she's out of a full sister to Green Manalishi. So her mother is a sister to one of the.
Isn't she like related to one of the horses that have like named after a like fancy clothing brand or something?
I don't think so. Well, Prada is. She is named after it.
Yeah, but I think.
Yeah, I don't know. And even Vinestaff had his moments too. He's got to be castrated, this guy too. I will say of the 2-year-olds, that's a different horse, yeah. That's Pilot Caviar. The horse that really caught me out of the 2-year yesterday, Capistrano Nights, how easy. Now you might say, well, she was in with trotters. She's a couple of weeks behind those horses. For her to come first over, and I let her go getting into the last turn with every anticipation of finishing up with her. And now Megan got running in a little bit and made a break. I'm not too worried about that. Just put a head pole or Murphy blind on her. There won't be a problem there. But I was very happy with her temperament in particular yesterday, that filly. Millie Girl looked very good, and Aunt Sarah looked great also. Aunt Sarah's going to be heading over to Ontario. I just think when we get her ready, that she could be a Mohawk filly, numbers of 1, numbers of 2. So, one, we have to put these horses somewhere, and 2, I want to pick the ones that, to me, look like they could be Mohawk horses when they get ready, and that's exactly how we're going to do this. What's this guy got 2 backpacks for? Does he know?
Some of them are like have sports after school. So if there's
oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, they do look sporty, so whatever.
Yeah.
And then even Steady Bolo and Royal Duchess, that was their first kind of faster mile, 225 speed yesterday. Love you, honey. Have a good day. That was their first kind of speed yesterday, so I was very happy. I went up to the fence to watch them go, and I was very pleased with the way both of them went. Now, that was our morning and our afternoon. Starting to get a little tired. I bounced out and got some pizza for everybody. Got another drink and got one for Amy. Even all 300 calories of it. Nope, Anthony, you got to open the lid. Once you do that, then the fluid can come out. So we settled in for what was going to be a busy afternoon for us. 5 to qualify, 1 to school. Now I went up there. You know, Amy hadn't gone with Pacers yet. She had never gone with Tenacious Hanover. He can be a little grabby. For a little horse, he can be a little ominous sometimes because he's a little wiry going out the door. And you're like, is he going to behave? Is he going to act up? Is he going to jump around? Is he going to cause trouble? Is he going to be a renegade? You really just don't know with him sometimes. But since Dr. Brown had taken care of that left hind or right front issue, his left hind has got better, which stands to reason. He's got sounder. He looks good. Now, I'll be upfront with everybody. I trained him in 58 last week, so I didn't really care. And the same goes for Nassau and those other horses. I had trained them all faster last week. It wasn't about going progressively faster. Sometimes when you're training them down and you really stretch them out, they just feel like $1 million. But it's the next week you start to see, maybe did you go too much? Maybe that workload was lots for them. Are they going to come back with another big mile? I think you're going to see us, for every particular reason, no particular reason other than probably needs it, we're going to come back with another mile for Tenacious Hanover next week, another mile for Nassau. Now, the non-winners of nothing goes on Tuesday, and we're going to put the big guy, Agent Black, is going to be into race on Tuesday, I believe. Amy said he got to the front, and she goes, went out on the track, and he was hot as a firecracker. I had to put my handholds up. I said, well, that's a rookie mistake. Here's the thing. The horses don't act in the race the way they act in the warm-up. So a lot of times you guys will comment especially you older horsemen, will comment how the handholds are too far back, especially in the post braids. You don't know how many times I've rolled up beside world-class drivers. I'm not going to name any names, but the top of the heap. And they'll have their hands in front of the buckles in the post braid knot. The buckles, you know what I mean. It's where you switch your handholds, right? You have the buckles, then the handholds. I've seen all the best drivers in the world will post braid with their hands in front of the buckles, and then in the race they'll slide back. And I know for the older horsemen out there, you just, I hate when they're leaning back. And then for the gamblers, they'll say, well, you know, you lean back, you create distance. You don't really create distance. We're really pretty close to the people in front of us anyway. And when you're talking about racing in that regard, in Australia, the bikes are 2 feet longer than the bikes here. So that the space, although there's validity to your argument, the way the driver wants it, I can assure you, there's nobody that leans back in the race bike thinking to themselves, I'm going to create a little space between myself and the guy behind me. Maybe you think that happens. That is absolutely never gone through the mind of one driver on planet Earth, ever. I can't speak for them all. I can assure you that is not on the forefront of anybody's mind. So Amy had put her handholds up, and then when she got to the gate, Agent Black loosened up and let up on her, especially when he makes front. He's not quite as comfortable on the front. I don't think he spent a lot of time on the front in his life. So he made front, and he's looking around. Now the lines are loose, and Amy's sitting up like a wooden soldier. And she said to me after, I felt stupid because I'm leaning forward. I said, well, now you know. She goes, well, how do you combat that? I said, if the horses want to stretch their legs when they go on the track, let them rattle through post braid a little bit. Usually, a lot of the horses I'll go with will do that. They'll roll through post braid, and then I'll get them up by the fence in the far turn, and they'll settle down and walk along or jog along. And you do get some that don't. They're hot. But as I said to her, you have to realize in the race they're not going to be like that. So it's okay to sit up, but if you're not comfortable sitting up, it doesn't mean you have to lean way back. But just know where your comfort level is, and that's just with going. That's just experience, right? So it doesn't matter how you sat today or tomorrow. Just wherever you learn to be comfortable on the track is where you have to be. And Amy, I know I tell her this, and we all know this, that nobody's really watching Amy, but we are, and she knows it, and she doesn't want to screw up, and it's a lot of stress for somebody. And Amy had a lot of fun yesterday, but I could tell it was stressful. Tenacious Hanover, she was happy with the way he went after, and he'll go again next week. And then with Agent Black, she was a little self-conscious of how she was sitting in the race bike. And Nassau, I never really got by. Now, I didn't chase Nassau hard to go by Amy. I just moved him over to see what he wanted to do, and they both trotted hard down the lane. You got to remember, it was windy, and somebody might say, well, look at them out from Spitfire. Spitfire Overseas is an infinitely better horse than Nassau and then Agent Black, and we were at the half in 59. We weren't there in 103, right? Amy went 31, and then she doesn't want to go to the whip to chase Agent Black to go a decent half. But as I said to her, I wanted to go in 2 minutes. We ended up going 2-2 and 4 or 2-3 flat or something. But it's not the end of the world. It really doesn't matter. Both those horses can go lots right now. I've been more with both of them right now already a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So she went with Tenacious, was good. Agent Black was good. Nassau that I went with was good, and Spitfire Overseas was just amazing. I told you guys, it sounded stupid when I said it because he made a break last week. Here's a horse that wore a roller burr and a Murphy blind on the inside. Then he wore 2 poles and a Murphy on the inside. At the Meadows, he wore 1 pole and a Murphy on the inside. Yesterday on a half-mile track, he wore nothing. Not a head pole, not a Murphy blind, nothing. And it's nice to have our blacksmith. We'll talk more about Enos has always done and continues to do a good job for us, but we do have another blacksmith that's helping out a little bit right now, and he's the one that actually put the shoes on Spitfire Overseas. And I tell you guys all the time, I talk like I know everything, and I don't, right? You start thinking you know everything about this game, that's when you're on the decline, right? That's when you're slipping away and don't really know it, because you don't care to learn. And the shoes that we put on Spitfire Overseas, they were not my choice. They would have not been my first choice. But I was to a point where I was like, well, I've exhausted the avenues that I have in regards to what I believe he should wear. So why don't we go a different route? What are your thoughts on what he should wear? And Chris had said we put degree pads on him behind. We took the razor pads off and put different pads on him up front. I'm old enough now, I've been around long enough. Don't judge. Watch. See what happens. And that break he made last week, we did just shoe him on race day. I don't really know what was going on with Spitfire, but as I told you, aside from that break, he felt as good as he ever has. Took the head pole off him, took the Murphy blind off him, and qualified him yesterday. That's as good as I've seen Spitfire overseas in a very long time. And I told you he was getting there. I felt, it sounded silly when I'm telling you how good he was, but he made a break. Now you're starting to see what I'm talking about. The horse was extremely good yesterday, and where we race him next. As I said to Jason, you can enter him in Dayton if you want. I can't go on Wednesday, but I don't want him and Drebin in together. So if you want to enter the Drebin down there, we'll talk about him in a minute. That's fine, but I do not want them in together. So make it very clear. If they come out together, I'm scratching one of them. It's as simple as it is. I'm not racing horses together, especially shipping 3 hours to do it. So Spitfire Overseas was exceptionally good yesterday. So we had Spitfire, we had Tenacious Hanover. Oh, Go Boom was the other one. He wasn't as good yesterday. He was hitting that left hind and bothering him. Plus, he was a little rickety in the turns. And Amy, she's going to be very conservative. She knows her first job is to get the horse around. Now, maybe I may not have been conservative. Maybe I was okay with how he was trotting and pushing him in the turns, but she was not. So a mile and 2-2, he should probably come back again. I want to get that left hind looked at that he was hitting yesterday. And again, got to change those shoes. You can't have him doing that. The one thing about Go Boom, he's fast. He's a good-looking horse. Does he have that eye of the tiger? No. He's just a nice, now where's a 4, now where's a 5, now he's going to be a useful horse for us over the next little while. But, that left hind that was bothering him so drastically yesterday from hitting it, you got to be able to push through that stuff. So we'll tinker with the shoes and help him out a little bit. But he was okay yesterday. Now, again, if I'm going to be completely forthright with you, I've already trained him at 58-4, 58-3. So there's no concerns about where he can go or how he can do it. And quite frankly, probably doesn't do his best work on a half-mile track. So he can scoot over to the Meadows, or we can race him down at Dayton. I just don't think he's ready to rock this second. So first, get him away from hitting that left hind and then getting him in to go. I know a lot of people are saying, well, we bought him, we want to race him. No, you don't, because if you race him like this, you're going to be very disappointed in what you get. And I want, what the biggest thing I want everybody to notice is, sometimes you really just have to rinse and repeat until you get it right. Spitfire Overseas looked terrible until he was right. And a perfect example was James's horse. For a high-end horse, and a horse that does have lots of eye of the tiger in Hasty Bid, he wasn't good all summer long. And James just took his time, turned him out, brought him back, kept going. Him and Paige, they did a great job with that horse. And then he won the Open the other night for him. So when you have a good horse, and obviously there's quite a wide berth between Go Boom and Hasty Bid, but when you have good horses like that, take your time. Wait until they're right. Your patience, more times than not, will pay off. So the schooler, Bridge Over Broadway, I had no idea what to think. We went to jog her when she got here and she tied up. Haven't even had a chance to train her yet. I warmed her up a slow mile. Felt pretty good. Went out and schooled her. She was awesome. Schooled her a mile in 59 a bit, 2 minutes, which is more than enough for a horse off almost 2 weeks. And heading into her first race here next week. Like what I saw from her, yes, we can even have her a little better than she was yesterday. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun with Bridge Over Broadway. Of that, I'm almost certain. Now, I've been talking for 28 minutes, and it's only been about yesterday. Last night, we had Drebin. So the only issue with Drebin, he's got literally a mouth on him like a hippopotamus. You can't stop him. He's hot. He's rude. In the mile, he's good. Getting him into the mile, man, he's a painful bugger. He's been like that his whole life. And that's with like a wire snake cord on. Last week, we tried to race him in a crescendo bit, and he was loose. Brett had to come with him again at the quarter pole. Well, last night, Dave Miller, here's how old would Dave Miller be? 55, 60 years old? Weigh, 128, 30 pounds? And here's Big Drebin. So Daryl called down and said, we get the crescendo bit, but you can't put a wire snake cord on, or you can't put the dog chain on the crescendo bit, which I thought you could, but I guess you can't. I said, well, it's very simple. David Miller is driving the horse. Just walk up to him and say, David, this horse is a nice horse, but he can pull pretty hard in the post braiding and behind the gate, a little bit in the mile, I have a crescendo bit, or I can take it off and put a dog chain on. Whichever he wants is fine with me. He's raced with both. He'd be fine with either. And actually, as we speak right now, I still don't know which they raced him in. I left it up to Daryl and Dave Miller. Whatever they raced him in was fine. The horse raced great. I think if Kane turns him in the first turn, he jogs. Instead, he ends up a very close second to a horse that raced very well, also 54 and a piece. So Drebin is back, but I think you're going to see much, much better things from him moving forward again. Also, he'll be in next week, and we may race Spitfire down there. I may just bring him right back to the Meadows. Spitfire, between the shoeing and the work and the stuff we put into him, what we've done with him, by the stuff I mean the work we've put into him, I just think that he's sitting on a big run. And I told you guys last week, this horse is so frustrating because there is such a thin line between exceptionally good and exceptionally poor that it makes it extremely difficult to fall in love with him, because you want to choke him when he makes breaks for no reason last week, and then he comes out and looks astonishingly different and better this week. Now, I didn't see a huge difference because I told you last week I couldn't exactly tell you why he made that break. I don't know. All I can tell you with absolute certainty is he is as good as he's been for a while. And I told you he was going in that direction last week. And he was. And you're going to see a big mile out of Spitfire Overseas in the very, very near future. Hopefully a few of them. But it was a while getting here. You know, the breaks at the Meadows and looks like crap and interfering and hitting everywhere. He just didn't look good. And now he does. So a great job by Chris getting the proper shoes on the horse. As I said, that was not going to be my first choice. And the job he did on the horse was tremendous. I just thought he was good, and we're going to have a lot of fun with him. So Drebin was good, and then we went out with Tally. 8-hole with Tally. Now, I know Dan Noble's here to race, right? He's a mercenary. He does not care. There's no affiliation in Northfield. He's not going to do anybody any favors. I knew that. If I didn't force him to let me go, it wasn't going to happen. So I blasted her out of there. Dan sat up, but Dan's sneaky about it too. He almost lets you believe that he's going to let you go, and then he just gives it to you. And I've seen this show a few times. A couple of them in the first-person point of view. And as I was coming to him, coming out of the first turn, I looked over like, he's going to cut me loose. And I'm like, no, I've seen this before. And that's a hard no. And I just bailed into the 2-hole. Luckily, I could get in there. Once I get in behind him, I thought that he would take me as far as we could go. And I didn't think his horse could trot faster than mine. So I thought with the spot we were in, we were winners. And then Justin came first over. That's Jody's old horse. I drove him for Stacy. Hey, dude. He came first over. Collared Dan, and I had what seemed like a month to make my mind up. Stay left or go right. I finally chose right. Once I got her to the outside, I thought she was a winner for sure. But again, left hard from the 8-hole, fought with her a little bit, and I told Lauren, right, and she knew as soon as we pulled up, she was a handful in the post parade and in the mile last night. She looked at me, she goes, dog chain? I said, 100% dog chain. Old Tally was a little ripe last night. She was a little sharp, but she raced very, very good second, and I think we went 57, didn't we? I thought Tally raced really well. Listen, we had a great day, top to bottom. Babies were awesome. Training, I can't think of, here, I gave you the good, I'll give you the bad. Who do we got to work on? We need x-ray Belladale, see if there's anything other than that splint. See, that's the one thing that'll happen to you all the time as a trainer. You get myopic, right? You focus on splint. There's lots of other places where there could be little holes in her also. So yes, I know the splint is bothering her. Look everywhere. Barcelona Mickey was just castrated. Deadline Needs castrated. Mordecai just time. Spring Ice is an OCD in his left hind ankle. Pop that out. Willy White is too. Pop them out. And St. Sarah just needs work. Cowboy, pop that splint out. Give him some time off. He needs to work harder. Rogue Titan, I don't think you need to do anything with him. He just needs to progress in his work. So good. Just x-ray her, let her hobbles out, put a little longer shoe on her today. I don't think there'll be a problem there. Stay Charming was awesome. Just let him continue to grow up and fill out, mature. Complete Unknown did his work well yesterday, this and that. we'll x-ray him just to see what's up with this guy, but I don't think there's a whole lot bothering him. But there could be. Pilot Caviar and What a Mystery. I don't think there's any issues with either of these horses. They just need maybe a little weight, a couple of sets of bell boots up front, trotting boots behind it until they put it all together perfectly. I don't see any problems there. Set 4, Popular Expert was great. Stuntman was great. PJ's Lovin' was great. History Hanover was great. Dublin's Ferrani and Sweet and Steady can be x-rayed, but they'll be on the end of the list. I don't suspect any issues there. Maybe left hind a bit with Sweet and Steady. I shouldn't say that. This could be. But again, nothing too serious. A Juju Me will check her over also, but she was fine. Neuromancer, just more rinse and repeat until we get them polished up nice. The babies, again, holding pattern was great, which is such a good... I can't thank Dr. Brown enough for the work he did with this filly. She just looks awesome on the track now. Incredible looks good. Gypsy Boy, perfectly happy with him. Cirrus looked great. We scratched Cloud Rider. He was our only sick horse yesterday. Miss Lady May was fine, just a little bit of weight needed for her up front. Dame Hanover changed nothing with her. I know Scott's always worried. She touches her knees once in a while. She's at international money that stands like that. Oh, we don't have anybody in the booth right now. I guess we'll just wait. She's an international money that stands like that. Gets out of gear a little bit. Gets out of gear. Brushes a knee once in a while, going slow, but at a higher speed she doesn't. Do we put knee boots on her? I'm not really worried about it right now. As I said to him, once in a while she might draw a mark on her knee, but I'm not too worried about it right now. And What a Houdini, just work with him. Cover My Short was awesome. We will x-ray him also. I might have saw him just creep over on the right shaft, just a hair, but he might have been touching a little bit also. Man, he is certainly fast. Exkey looked great. Lou Armstrong, I didn't know what to think of him. I do now. He looks amazing. Rose Run Chief, we will x-ray him. I know he's rolly a little bit, but he does touch a little bit behind. I'm not too worried about it now, but I don't want to continue down that path. If there's something bothering him, we can fix. So we will investigate that. Frolic, we already know, 2 tiny OCDs in her front ankles. They'll come out. Super Way, horse looks perfect. Again, just because of who he is, we'll x-ray him. He'll be near the bottom of the list also. And Chips Ahoy Hanover, we'll do him also. But again, near the bottom of the list, he just needs trotting boots and weight. Boitano looked very good yesterday. Really impressed with Boitano. Money's tied up. Looked great. Just got to keep those numbers in their places. Just bothered her a little bit. Perfect Instead was great. A few little breaks again. We'll put her on that x-ray list, but way at the bottom. I don't see any problems there. Prada Renata was great. She's got class, was fine. Vinestaff looked fine. Just got to castrate him. And Travel Blog will x-ray him, but man, he can fly. And all that was left was the 2-year-olds. Quick talk about the 2-year-olds. Millie Girl's fine. Just going to train her down to the races. Megan's Lucky Day, infinitely better. Her and Bobby have really matured and grown up. Aunt Sarah was great. Capistrano Nights was better than them all. Steady Volo and Royal Duchess were both good in training. As I said, I already talked about Neuromancer and then Bobby and Pretty Eyes and Lies. They'll be the first 2 to be ready of this entire crop. This will be the first 2 2-year-olds to come back to the races. Will be Rosa and Bobby and Pretty Eyes and Lies, and they're not far away. And Chicago Hall, just need to put the hobbles on him and work him. But I'm telling you, he is going to work hard over the next little while. So there you have it. That is an in-depth, absolute in-depth look at the entire day of Wednesday, December the 3rd. December the 4th looks busy enough. Doesn't look busy enough. We only have Raging Hanover today. Arrowhead Hanover is going to race in Philadelphia. He hasn't raced in about 3 weeks, so he's going to be a little short. Friday for me, I have Rock Shining Star. He's in a little bit tough. That's the backup class. But is it? A lot of good horses in there. He's in tough. 3-Point Blue Chip. We've been working on that lag non-stop since his last race over here. We'll see how he races tomorrow over there. Winter Soldier's in a good spot for tomorrow. Woodmere Flojo's got the 10-hole at Mohawk on Friday. And then according to the calendar, we just have gorgeous package thus far. Saturday evening at Northfield Park. She trained great here yesterday also. So there you have it. Almost 40 minutes of me babbling and rambling about everything that took place yesterday. The updates that you were probably waiting for the qualifiers and the schooler and the races. Now you're all up to date. Everything I know, you know about yesterday. Take care, everybody. Have a great day wherever you are. It is overcast here. I don't love these days, but it's much better than rain and snow. Take care. We'll talk to you all soon. Have a great Thursday.